Okay. PSA for anyone recording videos, please put your what is it, your phone on do not disturb, because like if you get a call from your friend and you're in the middle of your video, yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. I'm not pointing any fingers. Anyways, the point of today is I'm going to talk about why being busy isn't necessarily the same as being productive, right? So back in first year, I was like really locked in and I was really into that self improvement very much. Like I got to be as productive, as busy as possible, right? So I had this crazy routine, this morning routine, right? Started at 4 a.m. I was like, okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes straight. 30 minutes of meditation. Amazing. So now I'm a monk. Now I'm a monk after like at 4:30. And after that, I'm like, I'm gonna journal. I'm gonna start journaling, right? Yeah, I'm gonna start journaling. I'm gonna start learning a new language. I'm gonna start reading. Don't know what the fuck I would be reading, but I was reading. I'd go to the gym. That part was good. That was the only good part. Well, yeah. But like I had this crazy routine and I thought like I was this super productive guy. And when I told people, I was like, oh, I kind of felt good because I was like, oh my God, everyone else, they're like, they're fucking sleeping, enjoying their life, socializing. And look at me. I'm a fucking monk at 4:30 in the morning, right? You can kind of tell that this was not particularly productive. I don't know why I'm using quotation marks. It just wasn't. But anyways, right? I also at the same time really wanted to do a lot of freelance, right? So I wanted to do at the time tutoring for like high school students for like math, English, not English. I need a tutor for that. Math, biology, like science, stuff like that, right? And the funny thing is that while I had all this time and effort invested into my morning routine, I surprisingly didn't put any of that time and effort into my tutoring side hustle. And what would you know? I actually got nowhere closer to those goals at all. And I was like kind of like scratching my head at that. I was like, what's going on here, right? Like I'm so productive. I'm waking up early. I'm doing all the things that people like productive people would do, yet I'm actually nowhere closer to my goals. And that was the exact moment when I was like, okay, being busy doesn't mean that you're actually productive, or that doesn't mean that you are making any progress to your goals. And I had a very similar situation in my last year of university, or the most recent year of university I was in, right? And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do freelance video editing. And I remembered when I had that crazy routine, I was like, how that didn't help me at all. So I was like, okay, this time when I'm going to do this, I'm going to focus on only two things that will take me 1 hour to do every single day. And I want those things to move me as close to my end goal, which is possible. And my end goal for that was to have clients to freelance for to make money off of. That sounds kind of weird, but please understand. So those two things were for 30 minutes every day, I would work on like learning how to video edit. So that meant following tutorials or reading guides or whatever, right? And then for the other 30 minutes, I would DM 10 potential clients on Instagram saying, hi, my name is so and so. This is I video edit. And would you be interested, right? And oh my God, sorry guys. Do not drink. Well, I don't drink, but probably get your food digested before you make videos. Anyways, this is besides the point. Within 1 month of doing this video editing stuff like that, I had gotten my first client, one client, and I had I'd actually like gotten like cash in my bank account because of like the work that I've done. And it was such a mindset shift for me because I was like, oh my God, like I felt before I was not capable of doing this. When in reality, I was just not actually thinking of the things that I needed to do. Right. And I did this in like half the amount of time that my original morning routine took. So I know this was a kind of a long-winded story to kind of set up for the video, but I wanted to focus on 3 points on why, being busy and progress are not necessarily always linked. Now, being busy is kind of like what stimulates or kind of what a lot of people think being productive is, right? And while having a lot of shit to do is cool and it sounds nice, it does not mean, and it is not the same thing. There's no correlation to how close you are going to make your progress towards your goals, right? And again, I think it's because a lot of us live in a very like a hustle dominant culture, and people respect when, you say you do a lot in a day, right? The point is that even if you don't do a lot in a day in comparison to other people, first of all, you should not be comparing yourself to other people. I think that's been preached so many times. I don't think I have to say it. But again, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people because your situations, your circumstances, the things that you do, the environment that you live in, all of those factors, those variables are different, right? They're not the same for you. So you cannot possibly compare yourself to other people. The only person you're comparing yourself to is yourself, right? So if you yourself say, before I was not working on this goal and now I'm working 1 hour on this goal every day, it does not matter if fucking Billy Joe over here is doing 12 hours of fucking, I don't know, crazy ass work. You were not doing work the day before and now you are, and you are objectively moving yourself closer to that goal. Plus, like you are productive in that sense. So it does not mean that you need to work 24/7, because you may actually have, believe it or not, a life to live outside of your work, right? So as much as I really appreciate people working hard at their goals, you got to work smart at the same time, right? Now, the second thing is that when you are working, you got to work on high leverage tasks. Now, a little known YouTuber. I'm not sure if you guys know Alex Hermosi. I'll put a link in his channel. You got to support him. No, I'm joking. This guy's huge, like on like YouTube, and it's just a actual huge guy. But the point I'm trying to make is that he talks about high leverage tasks, and that's what you should be focusing your time on. And the way that I understand it is that it are those. Whoa! I need to learn how to speak. Those are tasks that you do that are as close to you making progress to your goals, like as physically possible. For example, if you want to build muscle in the gym, what if you think for just like 1 second, right? Or maybe a couple more than just 1 second. But if you think for just a bit, like, what is the one thing that I can do that will bring me closer to that goal, right? Well, you might say, oh, lift a heavy weight. And you would be correct, right? That is the thing that will bring you closer to your goal. Notice how I didn't say, oh, you need to watch videos on how to work out. Notice how I didn't say you need to fucking draw a picture of a big buff, big black buff guy, right? Those things might make you get into the mood of working out. It might make it easier to work out, but it does not work you out, right? And that was the problem that I was facing, right? I was doing so many different things back in my first year of university that made me feel like I was, productive. But God forbid I actually did the one thing that got me closer to, those students, which was to just call people that I knew and said, hey, do you know anybody who would need tutoring? Right? So that would be a high leverage task. And I was doing not even close to, there was no leverage. There's no lever. It was flat. There was nothing moving because of the task that I did, right? So you got to focus on high leverage tasks. And if your tasks are so high leverage to a point in which you only need to spend a small amount of time to have a big amount of influence, then like you've won the game, man. Like you are finding the things that are so important to your business or to your endeavors that you don't need to spend as much time as other people. You should not feel sad that you are not spending as much time on like things that people would spend more time on. You should be happy. You have more time to invest in other endeavors, right? Now, the last thing, and this is also kind of related to what I was talking about, is that a lot of people like to make systems for their goals. And that's kind of what I was doing, like with a routine, right? But the problem that a lot of people have, and I say a lot of people, I'm talking about myself, but the problem that a lot of people have is that the system sometimes ends up being the goal, whereas the system should be serving the goal, right? So if you make a system, say for example, for meal prep, you want to bulk. Now this is near and dear to me because I'm trying to put on weight. Not working out too well, but That's another video. But I'm trying to put on weight. And sometimes I'm like trying to make this crazy, like bulking, like meal prep plan. So I'm gonna meal prep on like Wednesday, 5:01 a.m. I'm gonna make 2 liters of, I was gonna say 2 liters of beef. You don't measure beef and that type of, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I have this very detailed, meticulous plan to do, right? And at some point, the plan that I make is the goal. And I'm working more on that plan than actually, believe it or not, big shocker, putting the food in my mouth. Who would have thought that that would make me bigger, right? So you gotta realize at some point that like what you do, what you do should be as close to what you want to achieve, right? If you want to put food in your mouth, then why are you writing on a piece of paper on what you want to eat? Just put the fucking food in your mouth, right? It sounds so simple, but like again, if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it, right? But it's not easy. I think anyone can tell you. So like the systems that you make to get towards your goals should be that only, should be helping you serving your goals, not the goals themselves, right? Now you might be wondering, you might be thinking like, well, don't I need to be busy to be productive, right? And that might be very ingrained in like perhaps the way you've been brought up. Perhaps you have parents who are working 24/7, right? And you know, when you're a little kid and you see your parents maybe going for a night shift or picking up extra shifts or working overtime, that idea of being productive, that idea of being very like locked in to say like it's very much ingrained in you at a very young age, right? So you may be thinking, well, don't I need to be busy to be productive? And the thing I'll say to you is that, listen, if you want to become a workaholic, you want to do whatever you want. And like, I'm not telling you how to live your life, right? But if you want to like work as much as possible and perhaps not have a lot of free time, that's perfectly fine. No one's stopping you. But at least work hard on the things that are actually going to be benefiting your goals, benefiting yourself, benefiting the things that you want to do, rather than work hard on things that sound nice, that sound pretty, like, and then just not really help you, right? Like, for example, like, and something to think about, like, if no one ever heard of the thing that I was going to work on, would I still do it, right? Like, am I like, say, for example, meditating, or am I reading, or am I learning this language for myself? Or am I learning it and doing this so that I can tell people I did it, right? Now, for example, like, I'm not trying to take a dig at meditation. Like, I honestly want to start meditating again because of the actual benefits it has. But you shouldn't be doing that to impress other people. You should be doing that because it's actually helpful for yourself, right? And it's for your goals, right? Because when you do it for yourself, then it's intrinsically linked to a goal. Because if it's not, then you're just doing it for no reason. And you don't do things for no reason. You don't, right? But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Thankfully, I did not get called in the middle of this recording, or else I actually might make another one of those videos of me crashing out. But yeah, I'm going to record a couple more videos because I will be traveling soon. So look forward to that, guys. Look forward.